men's 100-meter dash, the Shanghai Diamond League. This was the race that so many people had been waiting for because it was the first outdoor appearance in 2025 in the 100-meter dash for Kishane Thompson.
And we've been waiting.
Yeah, listen,
The world has been waiting.
Everyone's been waiting. So there was tons of anticipation. We finally got it, but he didn't come out on top. I mean, do we want to dive right into the results, or what do you think?
Look, when I saw the race, this is the narrative, because there's a bunch of people in the field, but if we're just being honest about like, well, one, how did it finish at the top?
Yeah.
And visually what I saw. Akani Simbini comes in as the world leader.
World leader.
So
yeah.
That means I see different things in the comment sections. Because on one end, people are like, hey, he's the world leader, put some respect on his name. That's fair. But he doesn't have any world medals.
True. No individual medals outdoors in the 100.
Yeah,
That's
so,
60.
I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the 200 either.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't. He has a 4x1.
So
I think, yeah.
Kashane does.
Kashane has
and
100 silver,
let's
yeah.
be real. He's the story.
He's
what
story.
people want to see.
He's
because
the story.
people want to see fast times. And he goes out and 40, 50, 60 in, and he's ahead.
Yeah, he's
And
leading
I'm thinking to
for a good
myself, is Kashane going to keep pulling away? Because he's away. It's a wrap. He was doing what Christian Coleman was used to do, which is another story that we're not
From
getting
back
into
in the
right
day,
now.
yeah.
And fundamentally speaking, Akani Simbini starts reeling him in.
Yeah.
And by the time he got to, because when he started making the move, I'm like, I think he's going to get him.
Yeah, because they were close. They were already kind of close when you're talking about 50 meters, 60 meters in. That's when Akani starts to reel him in. It gets very, very close, and then we eventually pass. And it was close, though. It ended up being very, very close. And Akani gets the win, though, by an edge.
So here's my question. What did we just learn in this race, though? Because at the end of the day, there's one winner. So the clocks, we can look at clocks all we want, but it's not a world lead.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. That's not what we're talking about. We now have seen Kashane Thompson outdoors in the 100. We've seen him. There's been a sighting.
Yeah.
And this is what we saw. So in your words, what did we just learn?
So for me, I actually take this as a big positive for Kishane. I actually think this is a big positive because it's his first 100-meter race of the year. We've seen him run, 60-meter dash races outdoors and indoors this year, but first 100 of the year. We saw him show up. That was like a question in itself. Everyone, I know the comments always say, if Kishane shows up, if he shows up. We saw him show up, and he ran sub 10. Now, the clock maybe isn't as indicative of, what performances are going to show up later on in the year, but the fact that he ran sub 10 in his first race of the year against a high quality field. Yes, there was no Noah, there was no Fred, there was no Kenny, but Akani, Letsile, Christian, these are high quality guys. So to me, this was a win, even if he got second place. I don't think he needed to win this, personally.
I totally understand that argument. I'm just gonna make a different one. Because that's not how the streets think.
Is it? Ugh.
You have to understand, going into this meet, because I've been trying to understand, I've really been trying to understand, because my channel is a reflection of what the community wants to talk about. As much as you may, it just is what it is. People want to know what Kashane Thompson's going to do. He's a thing. He's a situation.
He is.
Every time he runs, it's a situation.
Kashane Thompson's a situation.
The idea of him running is a situation. Because he might not actually run. So now the idea of him running is a situation.
Yeah.
And when you bring that up to the race itself, remember, Bolt essentially went for about 8 years straight without losing races.
Yeah.
The only time that I'll tell you the times I remember him losing. I remember him losing in a race where Justin Gatlin was wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah, one of the Diamond Leagues.
I remember him losing in a race where Tyson Gate was wearing a yellow shirt.
Yeah, that was Stockholm.
That happened.
2010, yeah, I remember.
And I remember him almost losing to Jarnell Hughes.
Yeah, that was New York.
Almost
that
happened.
200.
It didn't happen. I just remember it almost happened in a 200.
They looked at each
You
other.
see how am I missing a race? Because if we're counting the false start, then you can add that.
That false start.
But,
you have Asafa in 2008 before the before the Olympic Games.
Okay,
to beat
fine,
him,
I guess.
But to your point,
before
it's
you saying what you think.
That's fair. It was after he broke the world record, but I think the first time. But to your point, it's like Bolt did not lose as much as the quote unquote normal athlete was.
But see, here's the thing. If that's the narrative that the world saw, we saw a world in which we saw a world where an athlete essentially didn't lose. So now I'm supposed to go to a world where we're talking about it's a moral victory and it's a good race and he got second and it was a good field. There were no good fields when Bolt was running. He was winning. That's what it was. I'm not saying he's Bolt. That's not what I'm saying. Comment section, that's not what I'm saying. What I am discussing is let's be honest about what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because Kashane Thompson is a situation. Hey, I love to see him run. I wish I could do it a whole lot more. I accept that might not happen as much as I would prefer.
Yeah.
But at least for just those two men, two entirely different narratives. One ran all the way through World Indoor, and the reason why he said he did it, correct me if I'm wrong, was because Akani wanted to be there on the podium in the 100, and he felt running the 60 indoors would help to get him there. Which leads us to the second conversation, which is the Christian Coleman discussion. Because I'm no disrespect to Emmanuel Esame, he's way better than you think. He's way better than you think. However, most people didn't realize that he was there for the last year or so.
It's fair, yeah.
I only started realizing because he won a Diamond League race last year.
He won a Diamond League race last year, I think 2024. He's been kind of in the mix, even like 2023. He'd been at some Diamond League races, but he wasn't like, and he still maybe is not in the conversation.
Yeah. Was Coleman fourth?
Coleman finished fourth place, I think.
No, he was fifth.
Oh, he was fifth. Oh, yeah, because we had Letsile. See, Letsile was third.
Okay, well, let's go there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he was third.
Let's go there. We're coming to Christian Coleman in a moment.
Akani, Kashane, Letsile, Emmanuel, and then Christian.
Okay, so I'll just say my thoughts and you go. Because it seems like he did feel like it looked way better than last week.
Yeah.
Because last week it didn't, I'm just going to say, from our vantage point, again, we're talking about competitive sports. This is pro track, last time I checked. If it's pro track, then it looked like he didn't 100% give what he was capable of in that race.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like, as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, third in this field, it's like, okay, I see with him, I would take your moral victory argument and say we're trending in the right direction.
Okay, I agree, because I think Letsile specifically, he doesn't have anything to worry about except like he'll be at World Relays next week. He's going to help his team Botswana qualify, but he doesn't have to worry about anything until September with the World Champs. And like it or not, that's the reality of the sport. Like these races are all preparation for the World Champs. So right now. I mean, for Letsile specifically,
for him,
because he has no trials.
I gotta say it. The Grand Slam world could change that, but that's not. We're on the way there. We're on the way there.
One day. But for now, that's why I think like the progression is fine. But that's why I'm like with Kashane, I think it's a similar situation. He has to qualify at Jamaican Trials, but this is his first 100-meter race of the year. So that's why I'm like, I don't think there's too much pressure.
But how many more are you expecting to see?
If he's already running
before Jamaican Trials.
Jamaican Trials is at the end of June.
And how many more hundreds are you expecting to see between now and then?
Well, if we talk about Kashane,
because how many did we get last year before trials?
Last year before trials, we got a half a race, I think. So
we already got more race than we got before Jamaican Trials.
So if he runs one more, I mean, which is crazy to say.
This is the conversation we're having.
But it's the hypothetical of like.
That's the real life.
The thing about Kashane is like, I would rather him run less frequently and stay healthy to be successful than run more frequently and potentially get injured. That's what I'm thinking. But that's why I think it's good.
Okay, I hear that. But okay, now I'm gonna jump over to the Christian Coleman experience.
Yeah.
Third race.
Third individual race, yeah.
And it's been about a month?
About in the past month, yeah, because the past couple weeks, he's at Tom Jones.
He finished third, fourth, and fifth in that order. So he went from third to finishing in fourth to finishing in fifth.
So he's going backwards. Well, okay, what do you think? Because I have some thoughts on Christian as well.
Let me back, okay. I love Christian Coleman as a fan. So there's two sides to me. There's me as a fan, like wanting you to succeed, and then me calling it like I see it. I get it, it's a long season. But again, when you step to the line, as far as I understand it, your reputation is on the line as well. Remember, I gotta say this, the high school kids don't care. They go out there and they race all the time.
They do.
And that sends an understanding of what track is, because anybody who's following that circuit, I just see Quincy Wilson running. Hard, all the time.
Pushing it.
He don't care.
Pushing it.
And guess what? The other boys who we race against, they might be in high school, they like, oh, this is my day to beat an Olympian. I don't care neither. And some of them have pulled it out now. It's happened more than once.
That's a fact.
But Quincy also gets victories. So far, does Christian Coleman have a victory in 2025?
He doesn't. Does not. Like you said, third, fourth, and fifth place in the 100.
So we're going backwards. The clocks are not fast, and the start isn't there. It wasn't there today.
It wasn't that Kishane Coleman that we know, who's arguably the greatest starter, at least of the current guys, maybe in history. Like, you can argue that. But yeah, today it wasn't there.
I think it's an argument that almost nobody's going to win on the other end.
Yeah.
But that was then, and this is this moment.
Yeah.
Again, things might work themselves out. I'm not going to go down or descend down an alternative path. I'll just stay on this one mainline point, which is we're talking about races where there's been none of the American men who beat him at the trials.
None of them. Yeah.
None.
Noah, Kenny, Fred, none of them. Yeah.
Because I still believe that last year, the form he was in, send him to the games. Just send him there.
He's getting at least in the final. In my opinion, in the 100 and the 2.
Bare minimum.
Yeah, he's making the final. So what do you think of this performance? Do you think
Of him?
from Kishane, this fifth place performance and coming off the trend of the hundreds that he's had? Like, where do you see this kind of going as we look
This
forward?
is one of those times where the thumbnail is not a lie. I'm concerned. Not that I lie on the thumbnail, but I'll only say, should we be worried?
Should we be
Question
worried?
mark, exclamation point. Which means, open up for debate. Should we be concerned? I'm concerned. I'm not saying I don't have the answers. I don't have any of the answers. The narrative might shift, but I'm concerned. Should we be worried? Yes, you probably should.
Should be worried. Okay.
I mean, because here's the argument I'm gonna go back to. People be talking about it's the first race. How many other races that other people been running? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like in college. You remember in college when people would say, "Oh, it's the first meet." It was the first meet for everybody who beat your behind.
I know.
But you talking about it's the first meet.
It's the first. That's true. Oh man, I think, okay, my perspective, I'm like maybe not on the full concern because I still am of the opinion that he has time to progress. We've spoken about Fred Curley last year. He was at these Chinese Diamond Leagues not doing well. I might have put a video out saying, like, should we be worried about Fred Curley? But he found, and even after that,
Wasn't he second to Christian early in the season?
But this is in a way less, like, you didn't have Letsile, you didn't have, Kenny, and then he had finished third behind Akani and Christian in one of these. But eventually he got things together. Now, I'm not saying Christian's gonna do that, but I do think he has the potential to get things together because USA's is all the way in August. Now, the thing that is an issue is you have to get through Noah, Kenny, all these other guys, who are competing at the best of their game. And we've seen him unfortunately come up just short when making a team, with the ability to make a team, at least last year. So that's where I may have some concerns, but I don't want to say like, oh, this is like true concern right now.
I mean, concern doesn't mean it's over. Concern means it's not a foregone conclusion. See, right now, okay, let's talk about, I'm gonna give you the opposite so people can understand the difference of what I mean when I talk about concern. When I asked the question, should we be concerned about Sharika, I was asking it, and my answer in the video for anybody who stuck around was, no, I'm not concerned.
That makes sense.
My concern would be, can she get to the form she needs to get to beat what this Julian Alfred looks like?
Yeah, that makes sense.
This Gabby Thomas is looking like she's gonna be.
That's realistic.
It's not her in her top form. It was, could she beat, because she wasn't there now. We know where they are now and where she is now.
Exactly.
But when it comes to Christian Coleman, I know where he is now and where everyone else is. I have evidence. It's all on the board.
Exactly.
And when I look at the boards, what I see is Christian Miller saw you in the same race with your first race of the season for both men.
Yeah.
And what were the results?
Yeah. Good.
So I'm not saying, like, I'm just keeping it as a, like keeping it all complete in terms of like the understand.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, these are my thoughts. I mean, hey, it was a great field. I mean, it was an entertaining race. I think it was.
A good race.
Obviously, the story's at the top.
Yeah.
The Kashane Thompson situation is still a situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the situation is coming back, but when it does, I'll be paying attention.
Yeah. I'll also say, because he won the race, and I feel like we slightly glossed over, but Akani Simbine, I think, whether or not he's able to get a medal later on in the year, that's still up in the air individually in the 100, but he is someone who's very, very consistent, and I appreciate that he always shows up when it comes to these Diamond League races. Like, he treats these like, yo, this is an important race that I need to win. Now, again, whether that translates into a medal later on in the year, it's a whole different conversation, but he deserves a lot of credit for actually showing up and performing at these meets across the world.
Hey, I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it, but Stay tuned, because Grand Slam is going to drop the 100 for the men today.
Yeah.
And trust me, I will compare the notes between both meets. Because we've got a high quality field on one end, and we have another one on this end. So I want to see how the chips fall when it's done.
How things show up. So we'll see. And we're in Myanmar. They got some nice wind here in Myanmar. So it's like
We've already found out.
Yeah.